Hello guys, it's me again, the Origami Mommy, and we are back with another fun-filled origami project. This week is a puppy face with some butterflies. That was suggested by one of my students, so I thought that I would go ahead and do that because it sounds adorable. And as you can see, it is adorable. So just like always, I like to decorate my characters. And the butterflies were actually cut from a regular origami piece of paper, this is just the normal 6-inch size. And in order to get these smaller shapes, smaller sizes of the origami butterflies, I just basically folded the paper into quarters. So that means you fold the paper in half horizontally. That's called a book fold. Then you open it up and you fold it the opposite direction. And this will allow you to get a really cool cross in the middle. And I call it my crease cross. And then you can cut it. These lines serve as the reference points by which to cut. So then you can just cut right on those lines. You can use plain paper or you can use pattern paper. I have a plethora of paper, so I can basically use any style of paper that I so desire. So yeah, so this is my pattern paper, and now this is basically 3 by 3. Okay, so then we need to start putting together our cute little scene here with the puppy and the butterflies. So I'm going to put our little puppy and butterflies, maybe I'll put the butterflies sort of around here a little bit for inspiration. We'll put the little puppy over to the side. I will start with the puppy because the puppy is actually easier than the butterflies. The butterflies are a very traditional model, and there is maybe 1 or 2 tricky folds, but other than that, it's pretty simple. Actually, you know what? I am going to move those all to the side because it's a little bit, I just need my space. I need all my space. Okay, so this is my go-to paper, my big size color copy paper, and I'm just using brown, so it's colored on both sides. But you can use origami paper. So actually, you know what? I think maybe I'll do that since most of you guys probably have this origami style paper. So go ahead and start with the white side up, and you're going to fold your paper in half horizontally, just like so. Bring your finger down to the bottom, and then go back and forth at the bottom. Okay, then you're going to open it, rotate it around, and now we're going to do another book fold. Just like that. Nice, right? So now you're gonna open up your paper and you'll have that crease cross. And then now what we're going to do is fold. Actually, so we're gonna do, this is just called a valley fold. You're just bringing that outer edge into the middle crease. And then I'm gonna rotate my paper around so the folded edge is away from me because I like to do a lot of my folds away from me. So that means now this lower edge is going to get folded up to meet his friend. And there we go. And now I'm going to rotate this paper around so that the 2 short edges are on top and bottom. We're going to take one of these short edges. Well, hello again. What happened was, as I was making this last fold, I realized, or I just noticed that the phone suddenly crashed on me. So here we are again. So I apologize for that rude interruption. So anyways, this is called a cupboard base, and hopefully you have your paper now folded in this shape. So just to remind ourselves where we are, it was a horizontal book fold both ways, and then we're folding the two outer edges in to the center crease. Okay, now we're going to just choose one of these lower short edges. This is the raw edge here. You're going to fold it away from you so that it lines up with that horizontal crease. All right, and we're only going to just do one like that. Okay, so I'm going to flip this around so maybe you can see better from this viewpoint. What we are going to do is, I'm going to make sure you guys can see underneath. So underneath here, it's like a little flap. So this is like an upper flap. Underneath there in that flap are these two edges here. We're going to slide out both of these edges outside so that they look like a triangle on both sides. That's kind of the only tricky part of this model, but so I just wanted to make sure you guys could see that up close and personal. So I'm going to put this back down. I'm going to grab this inside edge here. I'm going to pull it, and when I do that, this is going to be sort of a 3D. It's like 2 steps in one. So I'm going to kind of put my hand inside this little pocket, and I'm going to swing this edge to the outside, and then I'm going to push down. So then when I release it, it looks like this. So it was like this, and you can kind of see where my crease, where I made that crease now. And I'm just going to pull this edge from underneath and swing it out to the outside. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. And I always do my folds on the table. So I'm going to swing this inside corner, I'm going to swing it out so that it lies flat on the inside like this. So it kind of looks like the inside of a box, right? So now once you have it sticking up like this, I'm going to come from the back side, and I'm just going to, with my hand, flatten it completely down. So right now, it has a very similar shape to a mushroom. Wouldn't you say? So that maneuver, this is actually also known as the house. So this model right here is an origami house, but I'm going to turn the house into a puppy, because a house full of puppies is one of my hopes and dreams. Because right now I have 2 cats and a lizard. And don't get me wrong, they're cute and all, but I do love me some puppies. Anyhow, we'll leave it like that. And now what we're going to do is fold up this lower edge. We're going to fold it up to create his cheeks. Okay, so I'm going to grab that, and I'm actually going to fold it up to the middle. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I did this wrong. Yeah, I was supposed to do this on the back side, you guys. I'm so sorry. So you know what? This is fine, but just flip it over on the back side, and then take this lower raw edge and fold it up to the top. Now you can kind of see where we're headed here. Sorry about that. Okay, so this inside here in the middle, we have these 2 flaps. Now, in order to expose his nose part here, we need to choose these inside corners here, and we're just going to tuck them behind. So do you see how that is just tucked behind itself? We're going to do that on the other side as well. Okay, So that's what that looks like. And that little piece is hidden on the inside. It's just tucked on the behind itself. So now we have exposed our nose, right? And from here, if you want, if this is too pointy, you can just also tuck a little corner behind, and that just helps to kind of round out his cheeky bits. And you can do the same on the other side. Okay, and then just like we did up here, we're gonna fold these two corners here. Let me put this down so you can see it better. These two corners here, we're gonna fold those also to the back side. Just little baby triangles. It'll just look something like that. So if you wanna turn it over and do the folds on the back side, you can do that. And that's what it'll look like. Okay, so now you can kind of see we are really close to being done here, right? All we need to do now is make the ears. Now, you could actually just leave these ears like this if you wanted to, because this is a puppy style ear. You could we can make like several different puppies just by moving these ear flaps and changing them. We could move these flaps up top, right? That is a certain puppy style ears. Or you can put these back down, and then you could fold it just like this, so that it's more of like a floppy ear puppy, right? And you can do that on this side. Just like that. And I like to think that the puppy's ear is sort of like flying in the wind, which is why this one ear is sort of sticking out. So you could pretend like he's in the back of the car and his ears are flopping in the wind, and you could do one ear like that if you want. You can leave his head like that, or if you wanted to make it, you know, I don't know, make his head a little bit smaller, you can do it like that, right? So that is basically the puppy face. It is the puppy face. Puppy done. So we put him to the side. Now we're going to work on the little butterflies here, which are really cute. Right? So I'm going to grab my smaller origami paper here, and I'm going to start with the color side up. And what you're going to do now is fold your paper in half, just like we did with the puppy. We're going to start horizontally. Book fold. And then from here, we're going to fold it into a square. Right? Now, you know what? I think I might switch to a bigger paper, because as I can see right now, that paper looks kind of small. So excuse the noise while I get a bigger paper. So it's the same kind of fold. Just imagine if this big paper is the same as a smaller paper. I only just made these smaller because if I was going to somehow, you know, like stick one of these butterflies on his ears, I just thought proportionately it needed to be a little bit smaller. But you can certainly make your butterfly bigger. It might be easier for the first time round to do it like that anyways. Okay, so to start, we just did the book fold, and then we're going to fold it into a square. Right, and then I'm gonna actually rotate it around so you can kind of see what's happening. We have another couple three-dimensional folds coming up. So this guy's a little flap. I would raise it so it's sticking up towards the ceiling. Inside here's a little pocket. I want you to stick your hand inside that pocket and loosen up that paper back there. And then what you're going to do is come from the back side here, and you're going to push it down towards you so that this crease is now going to lie on top of the inside crease. And when you do that and flatten it down, it's kind of similar to the top of the puppy head, the puppy ears. It's going to look like a triangle. Okay, what we're doing now is going into what's called a Waterbomb base. So now I'm going to flip this guy over, and I'm going to lift this flap up again. Okay, we're going to do the same exact thing. Just make sure you get this flap standing up to the ceiling. I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to push on the inside and open up the paper, loosen up the paper. And then I'm going to come from the back side down to the ground, right? Just like that. Now we have our Waterbomb base, which is pretty cool, I think. Okay, so from here, we're going to take only the top layers. So there, right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. I'm only going to be working with the top layers. So I'm going to take the 2 lower corners of the top layer and fold them one at a time up to meet the top point here. And then I'm going to match up the other side. We're only going to do it on this side. Then I'm going to flip the paper over like a pancake. I'm going to rotate the paper around so the apex, or this real pointy part, the part that's opposite the apex of the, the base. This is the apex, this is the base of the triangle. We're going to take the top layer there, we're going to start folding it, picking it up and folding it away from us. And this upper point right here, we want to keep folding it until it sticks out beyond this top edge, the opposite top edge. So pick it up, fold it until you are at a point where you think you have a big enough section sticking out over the top. You want it big enough because we're going to actually fold this top corner behind itself on the other side. So just make sure it sticks out a little bit. So I like to put my fingers, a couple of my fingers there to hold this in place. I'm going to rotate this around so you guys can see from the side what's happening. And then I'm going to pull on this lower section, and when I do that, this piece of paper that's sticking up, I want to flatten it down. You see what I mean? So now I'm going to rotate this around and show you from this side again. So I'm going to keep my finger here. You could actually, well, I wouldn't push on that too much. So you just want to keep this part steady and in place. With my other finger, I'm going to pull down on the lower piece and straighten it out. The main thing is that this edge right here is horizontal right now. So when I look at it this way, this inside edge and this inside edge are parallel to each other. They sort of are also parallel with this middle crease. Does that make sense? Trying to see where the camera is in good view. So that's the idea. Now we're going to flip it over on the other side. We're almost done. That was like the hardest part of the whole thing. This triangle that's sticking out, that's his head. And we're going to fold it on top over this top edge, just like that. It's almost like the paper lock once we get it all put together. So that's how that looks. Now we're actually going to fold this paper completely in half, just like that. That's what it looks like on both sides. And this is basically, you can stop here, or we can do one more fold, which just makes it a little bit more realistic. I'm going to grab his head, and then I'm going to make a diagonal fold sort of right over the top of my finger there. So I'm just going to basically hold his head, pinch it together like this. I'm going to take my other hand and press it down almost over my hand. So the idea is that this guy has now kind of a cool like body in the middle, right? And if you put it down flat like that, it looks pretty 3D. Okay, so that is the traditional butterfly model. And this puppy face is my own design. Yeah, you could, maybe if you wanted to, actually this looks really cute. And just looking at this right now is we have a little puppy face. And if we put this butterfly down underneath his chin, it kind of looks like a little bow tie, I think. So that could be really cute too. So anyways, I hope you guys have fun making these two models, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.